Says I might be live, but I'm not sure. Can't see anything here. Nope, don't see that. Where are you, live control room? Hang on. Says we're here. Let's start. Oh, hello to Simon Let's Play. Is your name Simon as well? And I see that you're like want to start your writing as well, and you're never journaling. So if I totally encourage you to start it. This has been super helpful for me. I love journaling. This is a new book that I have. I have another book here that I journal with, and I got a few that are already filled. It's a very important part of my life, and I'm hoping to share it here and hoping to inspire the people to get into journaling too. So let's get back to it. Question today I've been asked is about forgiveness. So let me see what comes up with that. Well, Simon, if you're interested in journaling, then I really recommend getting a nice notebook and a pen that you like. Go to a stationery store and try some out. And really the idea of journaling isn't necessarily the journaling itself, but just finding the routine to do so. So I love doing it in the morning, right after I walk my dogs and have a coffee. Um, just being able to show up regularly is what matters. It's kind of like wanting to go to the gym. You don't just go once and you're done. You gotta find a regular system for it, and this is my system. And so I'm not saying that you should do it in the morning as well, but whatever works for you, find a time that you could carve out regularly to be able to spend some time with yourself and just see what words and thoughts are alive in you and give yourself the space that you might not be able to have otherwise. And good morning to you as well. Happy life. Uh, Thank you for coming here and watching me write. All right, back to it. Mm. Yesterday, somebody asked me a question about forgiveness. If I forgive my ex-wife and if I forgive myself, and I have some initial ideas that came up with it, but now I'm just letting myself sit with the idea of forgiveness. What does forgiveness mean to me? What does it mean to you? What does it mean to other people? And where did we learn these ideas? And so now I'm just trying to sit with what was I taught about forgiveness? And I remember what my brother taught me about forgiveness. I remember what TV taught me about forgiveness. And I think the more that I write these out, the more I could come to an understanding of what forgiveness actually means to me, the way that happiness means different things to different people, and so does relationships, so does work, so does meaning, so does purpose. And so, what does forgiveness mean to me? I find this really useful. Sad Mimikyu. Oh my gosh, it's so great to see you here in the live stream. I always see you in the comments. I'm so very appreciative of seeing you here. Good morning to you. Welcome. Um, so Simon wants to know, do I write in paragraph style or bullet style? This is all just a free flowing paragraph, never really ending. Not the structure of a paragraph with like a topic sentence and supporting points, but it's just all the words that are coming out of me. And then right now, retelling a story about where I remember forgiveness when I was 16 years old. So just trying to storytell here. And the question is, um, does it matter to have other kinds of books, such as an idea book, will help in daily life also? I mean, yeah, like having, I'd love to just have my house surrounded in different books. Like this is my journaling book, this is my idea book. I usually write my ideas in this book. It's a lot smaller. I used to use these books for journaling, but I could just rip through these pages way too easily. So I usually save the smaller books for my ideas and these bigger pages for really elaborate journaling. So depending on the writing style that you have, pick a book that suits each one. If you're into just writing bullet points, then I think a smaller book would be useful. But for me, I'd love to have a huge page that I could just scribble over. So here you go. All right, now back to this ASMR. for those of you who are watching, I'd be curious to hear, what does forgiveness mean to you? When you were taught forgiveness, what does the phrase mean to you? What does the practice of forgiveness mean to you? Mm, Digging into all the examples that I could think of in my teaching of the idea of forgiveness. And I remember before at COVID time, I really started digging into, like, what does compassion and empathy mean? It didn't have that language, it didn't have that phrasing before in my family or childhood, so I didn't know any examples, and so I had to read a lot about it. And so now when I'm looking at forgiveness, I don't really have a lot of teaching, a lot of phrases. I didn't read any books about forgiveness, and so just really trying to unpack, what do I understand forgiveness to be? It's a abstract concept that has many meanings, so I'd be happy to hear what it means to you. Ah, interesting side MQ. If you're open to share what it means to you, then I'd be very appreciative. No pressure though. You don't have to share that here, but I'm curious. For sure. What does it mean to forgive yourself, and what does it mean to forgive others? And how are they different? Happy Life says, to me, it's easy to forgive others, but hard to forgive myself. So, what does forgive mean in that sentence? I think forgiveness is in many ways tied into the ideas of like guilt and shame and blame. And maybe I'm guessing what you're saying here, and this could just be my Catholic upbringing that is speaking through me, but maybe what you're saying is that it's easier for you to not think about other people as guilty or blameworthy. And you could understand their situations and context, but for yourself, it might not be the same. For you, it might be difficult to not blame yourself and not feel shame. That's my just guess, though. I'm not sure. I'm putting a lot of words in your mouth, but uh, let me know if I'm on point or not. And Sad Mimi Q says, I think forgiving myself is an important part of my healing journey. Yeah, 100%. I, I think a lot of forgiveness has to do with adding context and contextualizing and understanding that a painful situation was painful in that moment, but there's lots of context around it that as soon as you start adding a little bit more context, then the pain kind of softens. And I think that's where a lot of EMDR therapy comes in, and a lot of traditional talk therapy, and even some classes I took on narrative-based mindful inquiry showed that like any kind of traumatic event becomes less traumatic the more we kind of contextualize it and the more that we see all the things that happen around it. And so trying to see the context of where you are or where other people are in is a kind of forgiveness in some ways. I also heard not to say you forgive someone if you do not feel it. Yeah, so then how do you know if you feel it? What does it feel like to feel that you've forgiven someone? Where do you feel it? In your body? Well, what does that feeling like? Whenever I think about emotions, I don't think about just the name emotion. I think about what does my body feel when I feel it. If I'm anxious, I feel it in my chest. If I'm angry, I usually feel it in my like forehead. And so where does forgiveness feel in your body? Ah, happy life. Yeah, you were raised Catholic too. You know, ooh, we've been so. I'm not sure what kind of Catholic you were. I was uh, European Catholic and just raised with so much guilt and shame and eternal acceptance of me being a horrible sinner and wrong in every single way. Um, Maybe your flavor of Catholicism was different. I remember I was last year, I think it was last year or the year before, there was the Pope came to Lisbon, and my God, like there were so many people around that were just like singing and happy and dancing, and all these youth groups were with such joy. And I remember thinking, my Catholic upbringing wasn't anything like that at all. Like where all these happy Catholics coming from? Like I was just taught to repent, sinner, and so it's maybe Catholicism is very different in different parts of the world, or maybe that was just my flavor in cold ass Canada. But um, who knows? Who knows? Ah, Sad BBQ also Catholic. Hooray to all of us Catholics. German Catholic. Oh, very evil. Yes, you were. Um, yeah, of course. We're definitely not born in sin um, at all. My gosh, it's amazing how much this forgiveness topic has come to Christianity and how much Catholicism is flavoring my idea here of what this means. This has been so insightful. And thank you, Happy Life and Sad Mimikyu, for um, giving me so much more to think about during this journaling and feeding me with so many more ideas that I could really explore this topic some more. Thank you for sharing this space and sharing your experience as well. I was going to stop at around like 26 minutes. It's time for me to have my breakfast now. And so just want to say thank you for all the people that were here. And Sad Mimikyu, Happy Life, Simon's Let's Play, thank you for sharing your comments and for watching. And as soon as I have my breakfast, and I'm going to get to filming a video. And I hope you like it today. Thanks, everyone. Enjoy the rest of your day, and bye-bye.